How many more changes can you make and keep winning?
Oosh, not too many, I don't reckon. Obviously, the pleasing thing is that 9 changes, some of which were planned, obviously earlier in the week when we selected, and some which were forced on us kind of later, and obviously post the Wasps game with injuries. So you do look at a side, and if you go from one win and you change 9 of your starters, and you still win the next week with the 5 points, you've got to be pretty pleased with what's going on squad-wise and the quality that the lads can provide. Having said that, I don't think I could say it was as good a performance probably in areas, particularly probably as the Leicester game at home. But having said that, sometimes you just got to get on with it, and that's what I thought the players did extremely well today. You know, Sam Simmons and Matt Kovacic both very late withdrawals. You know, literally right to the last minute this morning, and that's a fair bit of shifting around. You know, Dave Dennis got involved without thinking he was any part of the 23 for quite a while. So, you know, you can see how those kind of changes can, they can affect the quality of what you do. But we've had 2 young guys come into the back row, pretty inexperienced, and we've seen a 5-point win home. So that's got to be pleasing. I thought a couple of the backs stood up really well today. I thought Henry Slade in particular was outstanding today, which is great news for us and for England. But I think as a team we just about had enough to see ourselves home to what has ended up being a decent win. You know, it's one of those wins. It never really felt like what the scoreboard shows during the game, did it? But we've got a lot of plus points. Alex Cuthbert getting a try and looking as lively he is doing is a big plus for us. Jack Noel being back on the pitch obviously is a big plus. Getting game time now into Harry Williams as a starter and Luke Cowan-Dickey as starters is a big plus. Johnny Hill now up and running obviously is a plus. Dave Dennis back just about in around the match 23, their bonuses, and obviously, big bonuses. We'll have 2 fresh England international back rowers to come back into the reckoning next week who missed out this week. So, there's a lot of positives. Stu Townsend's injury doesn't look too bad, which meant we had to use both the Maunder lads today. So we have got a bit of a stronger squad coming together on Monday. But as I said, anybody's going to take 15 points out of the first 3 games, aren't they? Because it gives you a nice foundation to be able to build on.
Long time since Jack Maunder started the game, Rob, and what do you think of his display today?
A little bit rusty, but on the whole, it's a little bit. It's always the same, isn't it? You've got to be careful of. It's very easy to be critical, but some of these guys, they've kind of been thrown back into it. We pulled Jack last week from playing an A-League game because we didn't want to risk another injury. So he literally went onto the bench against Wasps, having had 0 minutes in pre-season or any time this year, and it did quite well. And then after just basically a cameo appearance last week off the bench, he's had to start a very important Premiership game rugby for us today, and he's done most things very well. And he will only get better with game time and with that match fitness and match sharpness. So, as I said, we've overcome quite a few hurdles today and still got away with the points, and those have got to be big positives for us. As I said, what I've kind of said to the team is that the performance today kind of shows that as a player, you have a responsibility to get better at what you need to do, your individual stuff, and the programme we have here allows them to work on those things every week. So our clear out at times today wasn't at the level it needed to be. We got turned over a few times on the floor. Some of our ball presentation, some of our tackle completion wasn't of the standard I would expect us to have. But those are things that we can work on as individuals and collectively, every day at training, and that's what I've done. I've just kind of handed it over to the players and said, don't get caught up in thinking everything was okay today because we picked up 5 points. Don't look at the big picture and go everything's okay. Look at yourself and look at your individual performances and work on what you need to work on.
It's not bad if you can tell them that and come away with 5 tries and
yeah, exactly. That's how
points, is it?
That's how it has to be. We can't be not wanting to progress and not wanting to move on. We're going to go to Newcastle next week, who I've watched a couple of their games in the last couple of days, and they look pretty tough, particularly at home. Saracens' performance, there's plenty of energy there, plenty of aggression, plenty of physicality. We can't kind of go up there and have a quieter first half as we did here today, because we'll put ourselves under too much pressure. So we've actually got to reset ourselves mentally and physically for a really tough challenge at Newcastle. But that's what the Premiership's about. It's about how quickly you can reset, how quickly you can refocus. Same battle for Newcastle after their game today, and it's a battle that we'll have to aim to win.
Have you seen a change in Henry Slade since he came back from the summer? Seems to have kicked down a bit.
Not so much a change. I mean, he's a good player, and he's been a good player, but he's still a young guy as well, isn't he? So he's gaining experience all the time. He's gaining experience in his time with England. He came back in great physical condition, despite having a short break from the tour into our pre-season. And really, he was the guy we've always been holding him back. You know, he would have played in pre-season to have been playing in minute 1 of the first game, but we've kind of held him back, and I think it's been good for him, and it's just allowed him to have that little bit of freshness. He's in good physical condition. He's very determined to play really well, and I thought he was a driving force for us today. You know, and these last couple of games, he's looked like real quality.
Rob, Joe Simmons came back in. Can I ask what the thinking was of that?
A couple of reasons, really. I mean, Joe's not really done anything wrong to be left out. You know, he was the starting 10 in the last block, in the block at the end of last season, and without doing anything wrong in pre-season, he probably missed out a little bit through no fault of his own, really, that he played in the Pirates game, having trained all week to play in the Cardiff game. And then Stino couldn't play because of a family illness on the Friday, and we parachuted Joe in, and so he probably dropped into a team he hadn't really run with, wasn't prepared for. It wasn't as good a performance as the day after against Cardiff, when Stino played well. So Stino kept his position based on merit, but we always felt that there would be a justification in bringing Joe back in to start, and I thought that the justification was proved today, that he came on. He's done some nice things, nice break to start the first try. Did he look a little match rusty compared to Stino? Well, probably, but he should be, because he's had less game time. But now, you know, we've got 2 fly halves going hammer and tong. Both have started Premiership rugby this season. We're only 3 games in. You know, they're both fit and able to play well. It's a nice position to be in.
2 21-year-old halfbacks is quite good for you going forward, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 21-year-old halfbacks, and then an 18-year-old on the bench who comes on. You know, yeah. I mean, it's kind of what you want, isn't it? It's what you want, and it's where we're fortunate is these guys. You know, they work very hard from a very young age here. Our academy sets them up really, really well. Ricky Pello in particular sets the scrum halves up, you know, fantastically well. Ali works really well with our fly halves. You know, they get incredibly good, high quality one-on-one coaching in those 2 positions here. I think you can see that in the level of the players that we're producing.
How long will you be without Nick White?
It's weeks more than months. So we're hoping that he will be fit back to feature pre-Heineken Cup, but that's the scenario at the moment. He's in a boot with a stable fracture in a bone in his foot, but you know, sometimes it's the last couple of weeks that really determine how quickly a guy comes back.
What was Stuart Townsend's injury?
Stu's he just felt a hamstring, really. He's not really what you call like torn something to a degree. We know he's going out for weeks and weeks, but he was still sore running at the start of this week, and we didn't deem that, with Nick also unavailable, that to push him right through the week in training and then kind of fitness test him late in the week and still maybe have to make a change wouldn't have been great for him. So we're hoping that if he rocks in well on Monday, he could well be fit.
Luke, how did Nicky help any sort of injury?
It looked like a pop rib, so it didn't look too bad at all. Okay, great. Thank you guys.